Hi, this is Indica Jolie.
Hey, this is Artemis Bonner.
We are
We Human?
Make sure you go to SoundCloud and check out both of our albums. We have 2 out right now. One's called Super Bad, and the other one is
1637 Blast Ave.
Go listen to both of those. They're total vibes. Yeah, you can also follow us on Instagram at @RWeHuman.
At Are We Human. It's all one word, guys. RWE Human.
Yeah, you're listening to Knockouts in 3 Counts.
Bam.
Peace.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to
Knockouts in 3 Counts.
Yes, sir. This is Knockouts in 3 Counts, and we're here with a very, very special episode. We're going to keep our intros very, very brief. Any quick announcements?
No, other than Ooh La La Lucha this weekend, if I can spit it out.
And you can also check, I know for sure I'll be going, but you can check us out at MPWA this Friday in Royal Oak. So,
I'm with it.
anything else?
Nope.
All right, well, let's go ahead and introduce our very special guest, man. Kyle, you want to take this one, sir?
Yep, I can do that. On the line with us, we got a guy who's getting ready for a pretty big match here at Evolve that's going to be here in Livonia at the Knights of Columbus. We got Josh Briggs on the line with us. He's getting ready to go against Cassius Ohno. So how you doing, brother, man?
Good, man. I'm doing great. How are you?
Not too bad, man. Just trying to make it through all this shitty Michigan weather. But
Yeah, trust me, you'll find out about that next week, man.
Can't wait.
it could be 80 when you get here and 20 when you leave.
I love it.
But thanks for joining us, Josh, man. This is definitely honored to have you on the show, man. So for people that need to find you on social media, where can they find all your social medias and anything you need to plug real quick?
Yeah, just type in at the Josh Briggs on Instagram and Twitter, and if you want to see my personal life, just go ahead and add me on Facebook. Just type in Josh Briggs.
All righty.
That's about it.
And guys, you can check out Josh Briggs and the rest of the guys from Evolve May 10th. I want to say 11th. May 10th, which is next Friday. You go ahead and get your tickets now. Get them now because I was checking. Tickets are going pretty fast, and they have sold out pretty much every show they've done over the past year. So if you want to go, get your tickets now. Adam Cole's going to be there. Cassius Ohno's going to be there. You got all the Evolve guys there, so make sure you get your tickets.
And if you
now.
sit in the front 2 rows, be prepared to get landed on.
To move.
I'm just saying. Hey, I mean, what can I say?
Man, so Josh, you've been here in Detroit. I think we saw you at the last show, man. So how have your experiences been here wrestling in the Detroit area?
Oh, man. I mean, I've only wrestled for Evolve in the Detroit area. I don't know how much wrestling is going on outside of that, but maybe you guys can enlighten me a little later on that. But the crowd at in Livonia is just the best. It's like one of the all-time best crowds that I've performed in front of. It's definitely a top 5 for sure.
So you mentioned as we were coming in that you were sitting on the shelf with an injury. Tell us a little bit about that. Tell us about the recovery, what happened, and what it's been like trying to get back for you.
Yeah, no problem. So it happened, Evolve 124. Me and AR Fox were having, in my personal opinion, one of the best matches that I've ever had. And, a lot of people online said it was one of the best Evolve matches in a very long time. And it was all going great. And I do this move that I used to do this move. It's retired now. Where it's a choke slam, and I turn it into a lumbar check. I put my my knees under the guy's back, and I just launch him up off the mat. And I didn't know that move had been deteriorating my hips, but it had. And doing it off the top rope, I'd done it with Fox so many times before, off the top, and this time it just didn't work out in my favor, and pro wrestling caught up to me, and I dislocated my hip, posterior dislocation. And I guess the only real ways that that move or that injury happens is in a car accident. So every doctor I saw made me show them the film of me getting injured over and over again, so they can study it and understand how it happened. And It's supposed to be one of the most painful injuries you can possibly have. The recovery's supposed to be extremely long, 5-month extreme pain and agony until you can start becoming an athlete again. But I guess everything worked out in my favor, and I got super lucky. So it hasn't even been 2 months, and I think I'm ready to rock and roll.
Yeah, I saw the video of that, man. You could tell right away that something wasn't right, man. And if I'm not mistaken, that's kind of similar to the injury that Bo Jackson had that kind of ended his career, isn't it?
It's exactly the same injury. And like when I put 2 and 2 together with that, I really started shitting my pants. I mean, if one of the all-time greats in the NFL, like if that ended his career, what the hell is it going to do to my career? I'm definitely not Bo Jackson at the slightest. So I really started worrying, and I looked into it a lot more. And I guess 2 years prior to Bo Jackson's injury, he'd already wanted to retire, and that was the catalyst for him retiring, not the injury itself forcing him to retire, right. But just that happened, and it sat in his mind, and he felt like that was the right thing to do, was to retire. So it had ease to know that it wasn't a real like destruction of his body with that injury, but it's still a very serious injury, one of the most severe injuries you can have, I think, what the doctors have told me. And I guess you kind of don't really realize how much you use your hips until you can't use them anymore. I mean,
right.
Every single thing you do, from moving your arms to looking over your shoulder, it's all derived from your hips. And when I couldn't move my hip at all, it really, really sucked.
So you've told us about the injury, which, first of all, that was just nasty. Like he said, you knew right away something was wrong.
Right.
But now, as you come back, I mean, what a hell of a way to come back. You're going against NXT's own Cassius Ohno. Tell us a little bit about that, like how you feel going into it. And, I mean, obviously, by you being in this match, they're going to have eyes all over you. So, I mean, what's this match mean to you, and what are your thoughts going into it?
This has been a dream match of mine since I started wrestling. Basically, when Cassius Ohno was Chris Hero on the independent scene, that was like, he was one of 2 dudes that I really like wanted to be in the ring with, and who I like emulated and took a lot away from. So I guess to come back from an injury that it's pretty much changed my entire life for the better, I'd say. But regardless, it's changed my life and altered my wrestling capabilities. To come back from that, to have him as one of my first opponents back, that's I don't think I could ask for anything better than yet.
Oops, you're cutting out.
Oh, I'm cutting out.
Yep.
Okay, we got you.
Okay. So, I mean, coming back from such a serious injury to wrestling a guy who I really emulated a lot of, that's so special. Like the injury altered my career and altered my life. So to be able to wrestle a person who I've emulated and I've taken a lot away from, that's pretty special to me.
Well, our show is like half MMA and half professional wrestling, and not too long ago.
Right on.
Oh yeah, definitely. And not too long ago, we had a match between Anderson Silva and Israel Adesanya, and he had a lot of respect for Anderson Silva. And you could kind of tell that Israel wasn't necessarily, putting his all into it. He almost respected Anderson Silva too much in that fight. So will we have to worry about that with you going up against Cassius Ohno, or are you going to bring it?
Oh, I'm bringing it, man. I gotta test the new hip out. I gotta make sure I'm still Josh Briggs. So, I can definitely see his side of the argument, but I gotta bring it, especially with it being such an important match, let alone a special match for me. It's very important for my career.
So you mentioned that he was somebody that you watched coming up. I also, in doing a little bit of research, also read that you said Donovan Dijak is a big one for you. So tell me about that. And with you getting a chance to go against Ono here, you've got Dijak over there in NXT now. I mean, is that somewhere you're looking down the road? And tell me about Dijak.
Yeah, so I mean, me and Dijak are trained by the same person, Brian Fury, who he owns the New England Pro Wrestling Academy. He's trained Sasha Banks, Tommaso Ciampa, Oni Lorcan, Biff Busick, Flip Gordon, so many people.
Wow.
And basically anyone who's from the New England area is Brian Fury's guy, or girl. But yeah, Dijak was like the big like top dog at our school, and like the guy that everyone looked up to, and I really wanted to wrestle him. I wanted to test myself. I wanted to see how I measured up to him, and I got to do that twice before he went on to greener pastures, and I got very lucky in that, and it's very cool. I still to this day think that Donovan Dijak's one of the all-time greats for big men, and one of the best in the world right now. And I mean, him being in NXT, it's only a hop, skip, and a jump away from Evolve for him to make that flight. So if he ever did want to come down, I'd be throwing my name in the hat for first dibs.
That sounds like a challenge to me.
Yeah, for sure.
Man, well, as I mentioned before, our show is half MMA, and earlier today I did a short video, and someone asked a question: has Josh Briggs ever fought MMA before? So I'm going to ask you: have you ever fought in MMA, trained, or had anything to do with MMA?
No. So I'll give you the cliff notes. I was a black belt in karate when I was very, very, very young, to the point where I hardly retained any of it anymore. Yeah, I mean, like probably like middle school was like my heyday of karate, and then in between my football training in college, I boxed for like a year. So I probably like 6 to 7 months of like total boxing. Okay. And I had a couple sparring matches in Amherst, and once I really got hit in the face a bunch, I decided like, yeah, I don't want to do this shit as like a job. It's like so at first I was like, it's a really good cardio workout for me and everything, and to just keep me having some fun and whatnot
right
during the off season of training. And once I started having like a crisis of what do I want to do after football if football doesn't work out. So I started putting some eggs in the basket of boxing, and I started really getting like the shit kicked out of me, and I was like, yeah, man, this is just not for me. Getting hit really hard is just not what I want to do for money. Like I got a bunch of friends who are like some serious martial artists, and I'm like, they got way more respect. I can't do that shit.
Wait, so quick question to piggyback off of what you said. So you said you were a black belt in karate, right?
Yeah.
And you don't really remember any of it.
Correct.
So what would your parents?
I'm basically a no belt.
Wait, so what would your parents say about you them paying for karate lessons and you getting that high up and you don't even remember any of it?
Oh man, they'd probably be pissed. I remember we had the sparring session, and like I was like, I don't know, I might have been like a red belt at the time or something, and I got my legs swept out for me, but like I was like sparring with some littler kid.
Uh-huh.
And he like tried to sweep me once and it didn't work, and like so I started like no selling it, and he sweeped me again, didn't work, and like the third time he got me, and like I fell flat on my back and it knocked the wind out of me, and like I started crying because I'd never got the wind knocked out of me before. Yeah, dude. You guys are gonna learn about Josh Briggs. You're gonna learn about the real Josh Briggs.
That's what we're here for, man.
So yeah, like that's a story that not a lot of people know besides like my mom. So I was with my mom and my brother at the time, who's also a black belt and probably remembers less than I do. And my mom was like so mortified that her son was like crying in public, so she just took me like and just left. I don't even think she allowed me. I don't even think she allowed me to bow when I left the dojo. She just like stormed out with my hand in her hand. She was like so mad.
Wow.
So we've got a fan question for you on our live feed.
Yeah.
Jen Dibb asked if you have any nerves getting back in the ring after your hip issue.
Oh, that's a great question. Nerves is I wouldn't say nervous. I equate nerves to nervousness. I'm just really excited to see what happens. I'm not so much afraid of getting hurt. This is another you're really going to learn about Josh Briggs, like real Josh Briggs. I'm not afraid of getting hurt. I'm afraid of not being as good of a wrestler as I was.
Mm.
So yeah, I've dealt with the pain. That's not really a problem, and not working isn't that big of a deal to me. But you know, I'm very, very afraid of putting on a subpar performance.
So you talked about how that's going to change some things with your in-ring style. You know, from the things I read in my research, you know, you have prided yourself on being trained like classically and like really wrestling like a big man. Tell me the importance of that for you being your size, because you see a lot of big guys, like you mentioned Dijak. Dijak does a lot of things that big dudes usually ain't doing himself. So,
Right.
I mean, tell me the importance of that and, you know, your thoughts on like just the style in which you were trained.
Yes. Very traditional. And then once I started like making a name for myself, I kind of went I guess we'll just use him for an example. He's not the only guy, but like the Dijak or the Mike Awesome style of like kind of I call it just like balling out, like just going hard, doing like the stuff that the big guys don't need to do. So I call it balling out. So I started balling out, and like it shot me up the list a lot because I was so athletic. And once I kind of hit a point where I'm starting to really make a name for myself and people are starting to know me, that's kind of when I learned I don't need to ball out as much. I save the balling out for a special show,
Right.
and or a special moment that the cameras can really capture and maximize the most out of. So I really haven't been doing a lot of that, basically since I signed with Evolve, and not a lot of big guys are wrestling like big guys at the moment. There's only two other big guys that I can really,
Well, we lost.
I think are wrestling the proper way, like, well, not the proper way, but that style, that classic big guy style.
It's funny you mentioned Mike Awesome. Mike Awesome was one of my favorite guys in ECW back in the day, and I remember watching you at the Evolve show here in Detroit, or Livonia.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, I saw a little bit of Dijak and a little Mike Awesome in there, man. So it's funny that you actually did say that, man. So was Mike Awesome an inspiration for you too?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really ever watch ECW. I don't think my mom or dad was gonna allow me to, or maybe I just didn't know about it, or they didn't know about it. But now, when there's like such a plethora of pro wrestling for me to watch and study, like Mike Awesome is definitely like one of those guys for me to watch, like pick stuff apart and like take some of his stuff and subliminally slide it into what I'm doing.
Right.
Yeah, Mike Awesome for sure is like one of those type of dudes for me.
Man, we only got like 10 more minutes with you, Josh. We don't hold you too much longer, but everybody.
Oh man, we can talk all night. I don't got anything after this.
Hey, well, you know what? We probably bring you back on the show then another time,
Okay,
man. Because
cool.
we would love to just chop it up with you. But speaking of big man, we got Congo Kong is going to be calling in a little bit after we get off the phone with you, man. So,
Oh, right on.
you know, You know Congo? Had any interaction with Congo Kong?
Oh, I've never met him, but he's one of those, like I said, I think two or three big guys that are just doing it that way,
Right.
doing it the traditional big man way, and he's one of those three dudes that popped into my head. He's like such a sight to watch and see. So I mean, I have no idea if he knows who I am or anything like that, but
Well, he will after this.
He's pretty cool. He's a pretty cool guy to watch for me. I really like it. If we ever get to hang out and watch wrestling together, you're gonna see like the stuff that I react to is basically like the big, real hard hitting, impressive like striking or like impressive big time maneuver stuff. I've seen a million chubby guys doing moonsaults. I don't. That everyone can do a moonsault now. My grandma can do a moonsault.
So tell me a little bit, as we go into Evolve 127, tell me a little bit about how you got to Evolve and like what do you think about the current state of Evolve with people like Austin Theory as your champion? You see him all over the place. You got Adam Cole coming in, Velveteen Dream, all these people coming in. Just tell me a little bit about your start with Evolve and what you think about the current landscape as it sits.
Cool. Yeah. Not a lot of people know this, but Stokely Hathaway is one of my closest buddies in pro wrestling, cool. And at the time of me signing with Evolve, Stokely was a very trusted advisor for Gabe Sapolsky, the booker of Evolve, mm-hmm. And Stokely asked me one day, just out of nowhere, if I wanted to sign with Evolve, or if I wanted to wrestle for Evolve. And I said, yeah, I mean, I'd love to sign with them. That's like the ultimate goal right now for me. And so he said, I'm going to send Gabe a couple of your best matches, and then we'll see what happens. So he sent Gabe a few of my matches, and I think less than 24 hours later, Gabe sent me an email, and we talked over email for a couple of days, and it basically happened where Gabe just I don't know if he liked how I was reacting to his questions or if he liked my enthusiasm for Evolve, because Evolve has been a goal of mine since pretty much day one. But he offered me a contract just out of the blue, asked if I'd be interested in signing a contract, and that same day I got it forwarded over to me via email, and then 2 days later I got it in the mail to sign and send back. And, I guess the rest is history with that. But as far as the current state of Evolve is, I mean, that's like, this is just dream match territory for me. Like, so many good independent wrestlers right now that are undiscovered or starting to get discovered. And there's just I handfuls and handfuls and handfuls of some of the best wrestlers on the face of the earth that are under contract with WWE in some form or fashion. So for me, that's like I'm chomping at the bit. It's great for us wrestlers. It's great for the fans. It's great for the guys in NXT who need to get that extra seasoning off of the independents and interact with the crowd more personally, and be in a locker room with a bunch of independent wrestlers. I think it's great for everyone. It's great for, it's great for competition. We see these guys come in that are, in a spot where we all want to be. And I think it makes us work a lot harder. So I think pretty much every show, when you see a mix up of the independent wrestlers from Evolve superstars and the NXT superstars, I think those are all like 4 or 5 star match, top independent wrestling match, quality matches that it really brings out the best in all of us. And as far as Austin Theory goes as a champion, it's really cool to have Austin as a champion and everything like that, but Austin's time is done. He's had the championship for too long, and I don't want to really make this pro wrestling promo or anything like that. But Austin's time's done. He's done what he needs to do, and it's my time. I've sacrificed a lot more for this company than Austin has, and the way that I look at Evolve Wrestling, I think that I'm the right guy to hold the Evolve Championship. The way that I value Evolve Wrestling, it's the most special thing in the world to me. So, you know, that title will be treated properly once it's in my hands.
Man. Well, we'll ask one last question each, and then we'll ask you the famous question that we ask all wrestlers that come on the show. So, Kyle, you want me to go, or you want
You go ahead.
Okay, so we had Jen Debs once again ask a question on Facebook, and it's actually something I was actually thinking about. Well, you're signed with Evolve right now, so are you exclusively with Evolve, or do you still do other shows?
So the way it works is I can do whatever I want as long as it doesn't conflict with Evolve's dates.
Okay.
So you can see me pretty much anywhere. I usually post my schedule. But yeah, I'm still independent wrestler who's just under contract with Evolve as well.
Okay.
Speaking of that and talking about the independent wrestling scene, did you get to catch any of the Crockett Cup from last weekend?
I didn't know.
So
I heard some of it was like just unbelievable, right?
Honestly, man, I didn't know what to think going into that, but I have to say, clear from the look of it, clear down to like the matches. I mean, like they had like the old school canvas, like when Flair beat Harley in the cage. They had like the old school, like there was no big walkout way or nothing. They just had the stage with the 2 titles and the Crockett Cup, and then they just walked out a curtain. There was a dope-ass match between the Briscoes and Villain Enterprises. That was awesome. Rock and Roll Express was cool with their thing with the Briscoes, too. The Briscoes were like unsung one on there. But I guess my question for you is like you saying with you being able to wrestle anywhere as long as it doesn't conflict with Evolve, you know, where are some of the other places that you've been that I'm just catching my words, but you know, other places you want to go or anywhere else you want to hit as well?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. Thanks for asking that.
Yeah, once I could spit it out.
Don't worry about it.
Like that.
So there's this independent wrestling company in Ontario, Canada, called Destiny.
Nice.
It's like it's exploding right now. There's such a special environment in Canada, and I'm wrestling for so many of the best companies in that country, and I think that Destiny Wrestling is just one more that I need to just check off that list. And it's been so close to happening, and that's how it is with a lot of wrestling. It's been so close to happening, but you know the date or the travel just doesn't line up. You know.
Right.
And Defy Wrestling as well in Seattle, Washington. That's like all of my buddies have wrestled there, and they've said it's just the best crowd you can ever perform in front of. And you know that's what makes wrestling special is the crowd. And it's been another just so close, but it hasn't happened yet because of travel and bookings and dates like that. There's a few other places, but you know, SUP Wrestling, Southern Underground Pro Wrestling in Tennessee, they're another one that's starting to boom, and the crowd and the environment is very unique and very independent wrestling feel, and very personal. And that's the type of wrestling that I like to surround myself with on the weekends. Usually, it's very very personal, and I give as much of myself as possible to the crowd. So places like that, you know, and of course PWG, but you know, who the hell knows if that'll ever happen.
Right.
Places in the UK, but again, you know, who knows if that'll ever happen. It's just a matter of being on the radar. You know, I don't know when that'll happen, if it'll happen, if I'll still be an independent wrestler by the time that happens or what. But, you know, it's all like wrestling in Japan and the UK are pretty much like my 2 most important mid-term, in between short-term and long-term goals. Those are probably like my 2 most important for the mid-term.
All right, well, so we're going to ask this one last question we ask all the wrestlers that come on the show, but people, make sure you check out Evolve Wrestling next Friday, May 10th at the Knights of Columbus Center in Livonia, Michigan. Get your tickets now so you can see Josh Briggs. You get to see Austin Theory, Cassius Ono, Adam Cole, Baby. He's going to be there too, so get your tickets now. And Josh, real quick, why don't you throw your social media out there so people can follow you?
The Josh Briggs, Instagram and Twitter, and just Facebook, Josh Briggs. You can talk as much as you want.
Definitely. So, the last famous question we ask all wrestlers. So, there's locker room rules, and we've kind of gone through a long list of different locker room rules that different wrestlers have. So you have like shake hands, make sure you wash your gear, keep your baby mama out of the locker room, wash your balls, different rules like this, man. So if you could add a rule to the locker room etiquette rules for wrestlers, what would you add to that list?
Oh man, I got a fucking list and a half for you guys. Sorry for talking, but
say whatever the fuck you want, man.
There's so much etiquette.
I just want to point out that I wasn't the first one to say fuck this time.
There's so many rules in pro wrestling that are just they're just stupid, and they're going out. And I understand that the older people really value these rules, but I just want to say, imagine going to your actual work, your actual job, and shaking everyone's hand in the building. Like going to your office and shaking everyone's hand in the cubicle. Can you imagine how you'd look? You'd be looked at as an insane person.
What?
And that's what we have to do every single day we go to work. It's horrible, but all right. So as far as these ones that people wouldn't know, or I'll just add to the list. I'll add two things. Bring your own wrist tape and bring your own squirt bottle. So everyone needs wrist tape. I don't use it anymore because everyone asks me, "Hey, can I have some wrist tape?" And I'm not going to say no. And the times that I do say no, someone will usually take it and use it anyway. So I mean, it's not the most expensive thing in the world, but I mean, it's just like. Once you're on a show with the same guy 10 times and he asks you every time, "Hey, can I use some wrist tape?" It gets a little old,
Right.
And the squirt bottle thing, I'm very particular about what I bring in my gear and my stuff that I have in my bag. I need it in the same place, and I need to make sure it's all there before I can pack up. And it's just a bottle full of water, and you spray it on your hair so it doesn't get stuck in your face or go down your throat and everything like that. And, a lot of people use mine because I guess I'm one of the only guys that has one. And they misplace it, or they take it, or they break it. There's been 2 times on shows where someone's broken it, and I've lost my mind on them. So, bring your own wrist tape. Stop being a bum, and don't break people's. Bring your own squirt bottle if you want to wet your head, or if you don't have a squirt bottle and you don't need your head wet, don't wet your head.
Wow, that is completely new, and we haven't heard of a fresh one in a while.
A fresh one in a while,
that's
man.
Definitely
Literally everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
I've got plenty. There's plenty of stuff that if you go on my Twitter, man, pretty much every other tweet is me complaining about something that someone does in wrestling. So I got a big list.
Well, we'll definitely have to expand on said list when we bring you back on. We definitely got to link up with you next week, Friday at Evolve, and we'll definitely have you on for the full-length show soon. So, like I said, man, the man threw out his social medias. Check him out. Evolve 127, Knights of Columbus, Livonia. You don't want to miss it.
Definitely. Josh, appreciate having you on the show, man. Like I said, we definitely got to do this a more intensive episode with you another time, man.
Oh yeah, I'd love to. No, thank you for having me, though.
No problem. We've got your email. Either I'll shoot you an email or we'll talk about it at the show.
Sounds good, man.
Cool, brother.
All right, appreciate you, man.
All right, be good, guys.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, man.
All right, that was Josh Briggs, man.
Hey, man, that was a good interview, and I feel like if we do a full hour interview with that guy, we're in for probably some good fucking content.
Yeah, he really opened up, man, and let us in on the real Josh Briggs. And
hey, man, I like it.
Yeah, the wrist tape and the squirt bottle, that was one I was not expecting. That was definitely...
And it's crazy that he said that Kong is one of the people he looks up to as far as watching big men wrestle, considering he's going to be calling in a second.
Yeah, we're just waiting on him right now, but man, people, make sure you get your tickets for Evolve. That's May 10th, Knights of Columbus in Livonia, Michigan. I think first row and second row is sold out right now. But tickets usually
We got Take a Wrestler home seats, right?
Take a wrestler home seats. I think they're all pretty much like that. It's really not a bad seat.
Not
in the
like
house,
the first two rows, though, dude. Every
Well,
time
no, I
we've
think-
sat in the first two rows, Doug, we've literally been landed on. Oh, yo, what's going on, brother? Man, on the line with us, we got Congo Kong. How you doing, brother?
Not too bad. How about yourself?
Not too bad. So it's ironic that you're on the same episode with our prior guest, Josh Briggs, because he brought you up in conversation saying that you were one of three big men that he can think of that actually wrestles the big man style and that he loves watching your work.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
Yeah, he said.
Who was that again?
Josh Briggs.
Josh Briggs
for Evolve.
from Evolve Wrestling.
Oh, shit. Okay. Awesome.
Yeah, he
Good to know.
Yeah, he said he would definitely like to sit down and watch a match with you, man, and chop it up with you one day, man. So we might have to make that happen one day.
Right. Yeah, let's do that.
But Congo Kong, man, welcome back to the show, sir.
Thanks for having me, guys. Good to talk to you again.
Definitely.
Likewise.
Why don't you go ahead and throw your social media out there and let people know where they can find you?
Well, as usual, you can reach me on Facebook under Steve Wilson or Congo Kong or Professor Congo Kong's Wrestling Academy, Instagram at Congo Cyrus 78, and Twitter at Real Congo Kong. Yeah, I think I got them all right.
So tell us a little bit about that, man. Like, we've heard you talk. You talked to us a little bit, I think, last time we saw you about wanting to open up a school or that it was about to open. Tell us a little bit about Professor Congo Kong's Wrestling School or Wrestling Academy, excuse me.
Yeah, it's located in Bluffton, Indiana. I have been very fortunate that, you know, my very first start to finish student, Mark Vandy, he has connections all over the place, and we were able to get a building, and he's my business partner. And I take care of the training side, or I'm in charge of the training side. He helps me some. And he is working on running shows under the banner of FNX Wrestling. And yeah, it's just it's a place for, you know, anybody who was like me at one point and had a dream of becoming a professional wrestler to come down and get the proper training to pursue that goal. You know, I'll never promise anybody the world. I just feel like I can give you the tools to place it at your feet.
So tell me what went into you wanting to open up a school. Like, what was it about the wrestling game that made you say, well, shit, I want to have my own school so that I can, you know, give. Was it just to give back, or like did something in particular spark it with people not getting trained well, or what was it?
It's a combination of all that, but previously I was training under the Heroes and Legends Wrestling school, Body Slam University, and once it closed its doors, due to building issues, we looked around for a while, and then you know, things just kind of didn't pan out or whatever. And I waited and I waited and I waited, and then just the opportunity came up, and I said, I'm going to jump on it and, you know, start my own. Why not start my? Excuse me, but a lot of that, you know, it stems from seeing guys who don't really know exactly what they're doing. Some of them are out there just stringing moves together that make no sense, and they do extra stuff just for the sake of doing extra stuff. And I just, you know, I want to teach them that there should be a why behind everything that you do.
I like it. So tell us what's been going on the wrestling side for you as well, man. Like, I know I saw recently you went to Puerto Rico. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, I actually went down there for World Wrestling Warriors, I believe it's called. And hopefully, you know, they'll be getting TV and stuff started up down there. We wrestled in this huge coliseum. It was an in-and-out trip because of flights getting canceled and rescheduled and all sorts of stuff, but it was an awesome experience. I can't wait to go back, to be honest with you. The food there was great. Yeah, just been fortunate to go some different places. Places that a lot of guys say can't say that they have been.
Matt. So I kind of want to touch on what you were saying before about you seeing guys that are just basically doing moves just to do moves and not really having any psychology behind it, and it kind of ties into what we were talking about with Josh Briggs. He was talking about how there's really not a lot of guys that are wrestling a big man style, and like I said, he mentioned you as one of those people. But let's just say someone comes in there and they're 5'4" and they're not a big guy. What can they learn at the Congo from Congo Kong at your school, or are you able to adapt to basically whoever is coming to your school, or is it going to be all big man style? Let's talk about like how you take your students and how you train them.
In the past, I've trained all different styles of guys. I got high flyers, I got technical wrestlers, I've got brawlers. You name it, I got it. I've been able to translate what I know into creating the best avenue for them to be as successful as possible.
Right.
I don't limit myself just to being a big man, I don't think, in the ring. And so therefore I wouldn't want to limit my training, to reach guys, because I know, not all big guys are going to be able to come to me, and not all, little guys are going to be able to come to me, whatever. But I want to be able to teach guys psychology. That's a huge thing. I want the little guys to understand that, the big guys is not going to be bumping and flopping around for you like that. And big guys should understand that they shouldn't be bumping and flopping around for the little guys either. Not without, due process, we'll say.
Right.
And again, back to the whys for the whats, and, just playing video game wrestling is what I call it, where they go out and they hit a bunch of finishers, and, they kick out at 2 every time, and it just kind of kills, the business, really, because how many times can you get dropped on your head in one match and still kick out and still, have wrestling look like it's real?
Totally.
If I drop the man on his head in real life, in a real fight, he's not getting back up. So why do we dilute that, in pro wrestling? It bothers me to no end, really.
That's something we talk about on the show a lot. Like, just using this as an example, since we were talking to Briggs earlier, and he's going against Ono next week. That's the one thing that I like more so about like NXT or a Ring of Honor or a New Japan style, or even Impact too. But like just the fact that make the shit make sense. Like, actually make it look like you want to beat the guy. And if you're actually going to make it look like they're fighting and trying to win, like, if people are, like, just no-selling the shit out of getting, pile drove or getting the hell knocked out of them, that kind of kills the credibility to it to me.
Yeah, it makes wrestling look like we're out there, doing a rehearsed, segment, much like the spotty matches where everybody's flipping around and doing extra rolls. And I'm not saying don't show off your athleticism, but you have to make it look like a fight. If it doesn't look like a fight, then what are we out there for?
Exactly.
What are we trying to tell the people? Are we dancing for them, or are we are we wrestling? Is this a pro wrestling? Is this a fight? Is this art imitating life? Because I didn't get into it for the theatrical aspect so much.
So with you opening the school now, what's that going to mean for you going forward as far as, your day-to-day wrestling stuff? And like, are you still doing stuff with Impact? Like what's on the horizon for you as far as the wrestling game now that you're opening up a school?
As far as Impact goes, I am no longer under contract. So if anybody's listening, I am a free agent. If you want to plug me to several companies of the bigger companies that are doing stuff, please do, by all means. I hear AEW is looking for horses, and I am actually definitely that. As far as wrestling, I still wrestle, I think at least 2 to 3 times a week. And my training will happen during the middle of the week, when I'm not wrestling. And I try to keep open hours so that if somebody does want to come in and get some extra training, I can always meet them there and work with them.
So are you still working with XICW?
Oh, yeah. I got to get a hold of Malcolm Monroe because he has a big show coming up in June that I thought I was booked for. And turns out, which is funny because it was supposed to be this quote unquote huge opportunity for, we'll say, one of the big companies and whatever. And I was just telling Malcolm, I said, I don't believe anything until I see it. And sure enough, that particular booking fell through this week. And so I'll have to get a hold of him about that show so that I can fill that date real quick.
Oh. I want to ask more questions, but I don't feel like I'll get the answer for that, so we'll ask you off.
I guess I really don't have a whole lot to lose at this point, so it doesn't matter. You can go ahead and ask.
Oh, Jesus.
You
shouldn't have said
If
that.
it's too bad, then I'll skirt around.
You totally should not have said that.
Like, can we talk about what company this was?
Let's just say the big boy.
Wait, the big boy or one of the big boys?
No, the big boy.
Oh,
and
okay.
One of the remote locations. So not the main show, but they're talking about opening up in another country, and that was what it was for.
Okay. Yo, I'll ask more questions off air, man.
So we've got a fan question for you. Jen Dibb asks, do you have an age limit for your training, and how long does somebody have to train before you'll put them in a show?
That's a good question.
That's an excellent question. I prefer that they're 18. That way we don't have to deal with any kind of extra legal issues or repercussions or anything in case anything happens.
Right.
And as far as the training length, everybody learns different. So when I feel like I've taught you everything that I can teach you in training, what I'll do is I'll take you to a show with me and get you a match. And then that way I can watch what you're doing and watch what we need to work on as far as, putting you in that situation. Now, you won't be on your own for, I'd say, roughly 2 years. And really, I got guys that I watch out for that I've trained, even up till now, 6-7 years later, I'll watch their matches and make sure I'm critiquing them and, telling them the best course of action for what they're doing or whatever. But I don't want to be one of those schools that will say, yeah, you'll come in and you'll train for 6 weeks and then we'll let you go and you be on your own.
Right.
I can't tell you how many of those guys, I call them strays, that I've picked up over the years, to try to take under my wing and show those things that they just didn't get in training school that I feel like they should have gotten. They paid a lot of money for their training, and so they should come out and be well-rounded, as professional wrestlers, and they just didn't get that for whatever reason.
Well, this is a question I think I pretty much know the answer to it, but I'm going to ask it anyway. If someone wants to be a referee, is there special training for that?
Yeah, it's called you do what everybody else does, and we'll work on the referee thing in the meantime.
Okay.
I mean, to me, you have to go through the business as everyone else does. And, even if you want to be a manager or valet or whatever, you need to get in there and learn how to take bumps, because you will be taking bumps. And, you got to learn how to cut a promo and all that stuff. And you have to learn ring psychology. A referee should really know ring psychology. He should know how to listen to a crowd and tell, communicate to the wrestlers how to respond and, things of that nature. And a lot of times we leave that stuff out. And I know a lot of refs that, you get in there and you work with, and they know squat, and they don't know how to pass a message
to another wrestler without making it super obvious. And, you know, it's stuff like that I want to try to circumvent, you know, get it out of wrestling as much as possible. People are going to wrestle, and, you know, people are going to go and they're going to take the cheap route. I see that, you know, and that's obvious. But I'm gonna try to do the best I can on my end to make sure that, you know, people learn what they're supposed to learn.
So basically, if you want to be a wrestler, a referee, a manager, a valet, you still have to go through the exact same training.
Exactly.
Okay. I just asked because I know people have asked me that question, and I know since you have a school yourself, I wanted someone that had that same question to hear it from you directly. So, Kyle?
So, I mean, now that you said you're gone from Impact, you know, and you mentioned, you know, the show with Malcolm and all that stuff, you know, what do you see as the landscape for you? You know, like what's next for you? What's on your mind still in the wrestling game? Like, what's the next move?
I feel like I'm just going to do as always and, you know, keep plugging, keep chucking, keep doing what I'm doing. And you know, just like that door opened, I believe that, you know, God opened up another door for me. And, you know, the sky is still the limit. I'm almost 40, but I still have quite a bit of go in me, you know, and I did a match a couple weeks ago, and in the same match, I hit a Hurricane Rana, dive over the top rope, and then also a flying crossbody off the top rope for the finish. So
what the
I mean,
fuck?
I can still go with the best of them, you know.
Shit, between you and Hanson, man, excuse me, Ivar. Son of a bitch, dude. Like, this motherfucker is over here doing Tajiri handsprings, and you're over here doing crossbodies, and we get done telling you at the beginning of the show that Josh Briggs looks up to you for wrestling like a big man. Way to go.
Hey man, like I said, I don't limit myself. You know, I try to show off that size psychology, that size mentality, that, you know, the smaller guys shouldn't be kicking out of everything I do, or you know, I shouldn't have to do, you know, a bunch of finishers to a guy in order to get him over strong and make him look like $1 million still. Oh
my God. You just hit on something that I literally called Devin and told him about right after I left the MSG show. So, in the main event, it was Jay White and Okada. Now, it's no secret, Okada's the shit. I'm not even trying to say that he's not good. But the only thing about Okada's game that drives me fucking crazy, he hit Jay White with like 10 of the fucking Rainmaker. Like, dude, like, I guess it made sense in trying to make the match, you know, come across as a, you know, long drawn out war, because it was a good 20, 30-minute match. But I'm just saying, like, dude, when you hit somebody with what's supposed to be your finisher that many times, it drives me insane. Like, back in the day, you're not seeing Stone Cold hit somebody with like 5 stunners unless it's like a big ass match. So I don't know, man.
Right. Even then, they were more so going for it than actually hitting it. And to me, you know, you hit somebody with your quote unquote finish that many times, it doesn't make them look stronger. It makes you look weak.
Right.
If I splashed a guy 4 or 5 times in a match and he still
shouldn't
kicks
be getting
out,
up,
then
Right.
that doesn't make any sense. So, you know what I'm saying? If I go up and I miss, and I go up and he gets up and cuts me off and knocks me off the top rope, that makes more sense than if I actually hit it. You know, it makes sense for me to go for it and not get it, and then finally get it, and then boom, that means something. But if I hit it that many times and that guy still kicks out, then something's wrong. I need a new finish.
So I'm going to ask a question, and I already know Kyle's going to react to it, but I'm going to ask it anyway. So I found out that you've been working with Queen Amanada.
Okay.
She's been your valet before, man, and we've had her on the show, man. I'm a big fan of hers. I actually just saw her Sunday.
Devin wants you to shoot his shot.
No, that's not it. No, that's not it.
I call bullshit.
But
it's in the archives.
No, that's not what I'm asking. But Congo, if you want to for me, I appreciate it.
I mean, you just played my hand for me, sir.
But no, talk to me about Queen Amanada, man, because I'm and look, it's not just the fact that I think she's pretty. I actually think that she's really one of the more talented independent women wrestlers that I've seen on the scene right now. I think she's good in the ring. She has a well-developed character, and she has a great look. So for someone that's actually worked with her, man, talk to me about Queen Aminata.
I mean, everything you just said, man. She's a phenomenal talent, and she knows
What up,
how
Kenny?
many languages. It's some ridiculous amount of languages. Like
4 languages.
she was speaking to me in some African language, and she clicked, and I broke character, and I said, "Did she just click?" you know what I'm talking about, right?
Right.
You see that she made that noise, and I was like, "What the hell? No."
Yeah, she speaks. I think she said she speaks 2 African languages, French and English.
Yeah, and I mean, she's a heck of an athlete, and she works her character well. Her promos are great. Like to me, it's kind of stupid that the big companies haven't picked up on her. She's even like their idealistic size of a woman. So I don't understand, what's taking so long with that.
Well, I'm not saying anything, but she's going to be wrestling in a very big match this Saturday here in Detroit for Ooh La La Lucha with Movado's promotion, man. I'll just say, people, make sure y'all come watch that match. It's going to be very, very big for her and her opponent.
Awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah. Kyle?
Well, and you're the one over here telling me, I don't know, bro. Motherfucker. Like, anyway, I didn't say shit. Just so when you guys listen back to it, I didn't say shit.
You didn't have to.
Damn it, you just...
I'm sorry, Kyle's over here laughing right now.
You done fucked me up, asshole. I was getting ready to ask my question, and you made me lose my train of thought.
My bad, man. But Kyle, when can we see you here in the Detroit area, man?
Hold on, let me go through my calendar because I don't remember dates anymore.
Okay. Well, while you're looking through the calendar, we'll go ahead and ask you. We've asked you the question before about locker room etiquette.
Really going?
Well, no. We asked Josh Briggs the question about locker room etiquette. I think yours was make sure you wash your balls. But Josh Briggs brought up one that I haven't heard before, and I want to know what you think about this one. So, the 2 rules he said that he wanted to add to the list of wrestling locker room rules is bring your own wrist tape and bring your own squirt bottle.
I mean, yeah, those I guess would be newer, rules or whatever. But yeah, I'd never heard those either.
It's nice to get a new one because we usually
focus on having your own stuff. There's a guy up in Ontario area that I often travel with. He goes by Phil Atlas. I'll say his name. He might get mad at me, but we always tease him about all the stuff that he asked for to borrow from wrestlers, and 1 week is you got some tape, you got some gum, and all kinds of stuff that he'll. They've made up a song about it. That's how ridiculous it gets sometimes. But yeah, I guess that makes sense. That could be something that you would harp on or whatever, is have your own stuff. And sometimes people just don't have their own stuff. Sometimes they didn't have time to get their own stuff.
Right.
Well,
I guess with him, what he's kind of saying was that, okay, yeah, maybe like once or twice, you forget to bring tape, but it's like when you're the same guy asking over and over again at every single show, that's kind of the point that he was making.
Yeah, that's absolutely fair. Next time I'll be in Detroit is May 17th for Horror Slam.
Ooh, okay.
In River.
It's in Riverview.
Riverview, yeah.
At Rocky's Pub.
What are those river towns? Yeah, yep, downriver.
Yep.
Not too far from me. We might have to make an appearance at that one. So
yeah, Horror Slam is one of the shows I haven't been to yet. Might have to definitely hit that show, man.
It's a fun little show. It's something different. They try to do something different than all the other wrestling in the Detroit area.
Yeah, man.
It's more gimmick driven, I guess, than everybody going out and just being super athletes.
You know, it's funny you say that because you can see a past guest of the show, Madman Pondo, who almost fucking killed a guy the one time I was there. I'm like, what the fuck, man?
Man, well, we're gonna start winding down a little bit, Congo, but let the people know everything they need to know about your school, man.
Well, you can either you can hit me up on any of my social media for the details, and you can either pay all up front if you have it, or you can break it down with a down payment and monthly payments. I mean, I think that's something fair, you know, and I try to keep everybody in mind and not just, you know, make my school for the rich necessarily. You know, I want anybody who has this dream, the same dream that I had of becoming a professional wrestler, to have the opportunity. Just get a hold of me and we can work something out. I even look to get to the point to where we develop some relationships with local housing units or real estate agents, things like that, so that we can have, you know, a house or home for wrestlers who aren't from the area, or for trainees who aren't from the area, to come in and stay while they get their training. I just got done eating, so I'm a little gassy, guys. My bad.
I have Crohn's disease. That's everyday life. But so the question I was going to ask you is another thing Josh Briggs talked about in his half of the show. He was talking about how important the environment of a show is, whether it not having to be maybe necessarily the big crowd. You know, it's more about the atmosphere of it. So tell me a little bit for you, like, what's your favorite atmosphere? Is it the big crowds like over there in Puerto Rico? Is it something small like the local indies? Is it, you know, something that's like on a maybe more like a medium scale, like Impact? Like, what's your favorite type of atmosphere for a show?
A crowd that responds. I don't care what size they are, but as long as you respond, I feel like I can give you the best show that, you know, you paid your money for and you deserve. You know, if you're just sitting out there on your hands, then it's going to be kind of hard for me to get into it, you know, as much. If wrestling and trying to get a reaction out of you is like pulling teeth, then, you know, it's going to get rough, and I'm probably going to be more likely to say, nah, I don't want to do that extra risky move. You know, let's tone it down a little bit and, you know, get out of here or whatever with our health. But I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to feel like that. I want to give of myself, because I want people to come back. I want them to feel like they got their money's worth, and they're going to get their money's worth the next time they come see me. You know, and honestly, a part of that, you know, as far as how the crowd is reacting, you know, during my match, or, you know, a lot of times I'm in the second half or main event or semi-main event of the show, and by that time they've seen everything. And so it makes it a little more difficult for, you know, to go out there without literally killing ourselves to try to get these fans back on track, to get, you know, to give them the best performance that we can give. So I would say that's some wrestlers' fault, you know, because there's a lot of wrestlers, you go to shows, and I call them one-a-monthers, where they wrestle once or twice a month, and so they feel like they got to get their stuff in whenever they wrestle, and it just, you know, it ends up killing the crowd by the end of the show, and it makes it super hard for the main event to go out there and do what we're supposed to do. You know, it's a partial lack of training, and it's a partial selfishness, I would say, more than anything. You know, because even at the beginning of the show, I'll say to the crowd, hey, go out and do your stuff, but like there's certain things that you need to avoid, or not the crowd, to the locker room. Certain things that you need to avoid, so that when it rolls around to our matches, they've not seen it a million times, and we can still get a reaction out of them like we're supposed to.
Well, Professor Kong. It's kind of weird saying that, man. Professor Kong. One last time, man. Why don't you let the people know your social media and information about the school?
All right. Yeah, like I said, the school is in Bluffton, Indiana. You can get a hold of me on Facebook, us on Facebook under Professor Congo Kong's Wrestling Academy or Professor Kong's Academy. I'm not sure which one it is on there. Each one has like a different name. It's crazy. Or you can get a hold of me on any of my social medias, Steve Olson, Congo Kong / the Juggernaut Osiris, Juggernaut Gear by Osiris. I still make gear for any wrestlers that are looking for it. And am I missing one? Yeah, I mentioned the school and yeah, the other three. And then Instagram again is Kong Osiris 78. That's KONGOSYRIS 78. And then my Twitter handle is at Real Congo Kong. And usually if you go to any of those and you type in Congo Kong, my page will pop up anyway. So
it's weird that you say that because on Twitter, like when we were trying to get you in there for the promo, like it was like pulling teeth. I'm like, holy shit, there can't be that many people with Congo Kong, especially considering the motherfucker follows us. Like it should not be that hard for me to tag him in a damn tweet. Like shit.
that's awesome.
Man. But Congo, appreciate you having you on the show. Oh, people, make sure you go check him out at Horror Slam on May 17th. Is that right?
Yes, that's Horror Slam, WHORESLAM.
No comment because you're coming downriver.
I didn't know it was that type of show, man. I'd definitely be there now.
He's gonna be downriver.
Hey, there you go. I told him that's what they should have named it. And just ran with it. Hell.
Man, make sure you check out Kong at Horror Slam on May 17th. Make sure you go check out the wrestling school if you're down there in Bluffton, Indiana.
Not just in Bluffton, Indiana. We accept people from all areas, all walks of life. Come on in.
Definitely. Yeah, we have to come whenever you guys start running shows, man. We definitely have to have you come back on the show, man. We might even have to make a little road trip.
Absolutely. Sounds good. Our first show is slated for September. I want to say September 20th, which is a Friday.
Okay.
I was about to say, I
But
thought he was about to say my birthday for a minute. I was like, what the fuck?
Man. Well, Kong, man, appreciate you coming back on the show, man. And best of luck with the school, man. And we'll probably see you on the 17th.
Absolutely, man. Thank you guys for having me again.
All right. Appreciate you, man.
All right. Holla.
Later,
Yes.
homie.
All right, people. That's been the show. Kyle, any last words, man? Any quick announcements?
Just come check out Ooh La La Lucha. I mean, Ultimo Dragon's going to be here. Past guest of the show, Sam Adonis. I mean, dude, this crowd is fucking insane. Like, it's not like a normal wrestling show. You got a mariachi band. You got burlesque dancers. You got our good friend, the Mysterious Movado. He's going to be teaming, with Ultimo Dragon. So it's gonna be a great show, man. Check them out, St. Andrews Hall. If you haven't got tickets, you better hurry up because last year it sold out.
And I know I'll be at MPWA this Friday, the day before Ooh La La, and Ultimo Dragon's going to be there as well. And it's going to be in Royal Oak. Make sure you come check that out. Come and say hi to me. I'll be the tall black guy wearing a Kango hat. And
I might have to make an appearance at that one. Or no, shit, I got a party I got to go to that day.
Don't do any cocaine. That's all I got to say. All right. Make sure you check out ko3cpod.com. Follow all our social media. Like, share, subscribe. Randy, I feel like you have something to say.
I forgot to hit record. Can you do this all again?
Sure. No problem. I'll just call in to work tomorrow. But make sure you go to ko3cpod.com. Follow all our social media. Join the Reality Era News page on Facebook. We talking all kinds of wrestling stuff right there. Like, hey, what are the Viking Raiders called this week? Make sure you check out 11:05 Live every Monday through Thursday. I jump on the page and just talk about whatever topic is on my mind for about 20 minutes during my lunch breaks. So,
and usually Thursdays you'll get Devin and I both same time. So I mean, you get a little bit of a snippet of what you get at the regular show.
Randy, I feel like you have something else to say.
I know what he's gonna say. I didn't mean it the way it sounded.
Black Widow sacrifices herself for the Soul Stone.
I know that. Well, now it's okay to put fucking the spoilers out, dude. I mean, come on now.
So how many times have you seen the movie, Randy?
Only once so far.
I've seen it 3 times already.
I need to see it more.
I saw it once so far.
Man, people are really mad at Tony Stark. Oh fuck, we're talking about it.
Everybody knows Tony Stark died.
No. I was just so in like no spoilers mode, but now we can talk about it. People are really mad that Tony Stark is dead, man. I'm like, how did you not see that coming?
I'm not gonna lie, that was pretty sad the way it went out, though. I'm not gonna lie. I was
man.
I didn't cry or nothing, but I'm like, damn, that's fucked up.
Quick story, and then we'll get up out of here. So I go see it Thursday night, right? I'm sitting down. I get in there a little bit late, during the trailers, whatever. It's dark. I sit down, and it's this guy that kept getting up, and he had a prosthetic leg. I think that's the proper. Is that politically correct? Prosthetic leg. Okay. So he got up a couple times. I'm like, oh, well, he must be like a wounded warrior or something like that. So the lights come on at the end of the movie, and all of a sudden I hear Devin, and I look to my right. Is Rick, the referee for Clash, and sitting next to him is Zach Gowen, former WWE superstar. So I saw.
He's a dream interview for me, but
and I shot the shot. We'll definitely be talking to him.
I've already been shot it, but the more shots we take, the better chance there is.
But wait, guess who else was in that same theater? So I'm walking in, I'm getting my beer, and I see this young lady. I'm like, I know her from somewhere. I'm thinking like I went to high school with her. So I asked like, did we go to Mumford together? Blah, blah, blah. Like, no. I'm like, you might have seen me on the news. I'm like, what? Fox 2 News. I'm Marielle Lou. So I was in there with Marielle Lou and Zach Gowen and Rick the referee. Bam. How about that? Small world. All right,
Here's an even smaller world. Did you know that Juice Robinson was partially trained by Truth Martini?
I did not know that.
See there? Dropping knowledge.
Bam. And now you can get trained by Congo Kong.
That too.
Bam. All right. Ready? You ready to get out right here, man? Or you want to talk more Marvel?
Arya kills the Night King.
I don't watch Game of Thrones, so I don't know what that means.
Good night, everybody.
Fuck your couch.
Till next time. Peace.